Hello there, and welcome back to another edition of Saint Spotlight. Today we have rising senior Henry Driscoll here from the Thomas More community. Henry, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Saint Spotlight. Would you mind sharing with our audience a little bit about yourself and how you found Thomas More community and knew it was the right place for you?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me on. So basically, I did like a long, hard look at what my finances would be if I were to come here, like just about every other student. And then I looked at tuition that it would be paying at like NKU because it's 2 feet away. And while tuition there is already lower, like at a base, Thomas More kind of offered me a lot more money in scholarships. It was way more affordable for me. And then I was also a lot more familiar with this campus. I practiced soccer here. My dad went here. It's really, really close to my house. So it was like, it's kind of a no-brainer.
What has your experience been like working towards a criminal justice degree here at Thomas More?
It's definitely been interesting because I've had like a lot of like really, really good classes. If I could recommend one class that like you have to take if you're in criminal justice is like the student, like the police academy, that class. And then like Crestview Hills, Lakeside Park, they come in and they teach like half the class. Megerly teaches the other half. And it's just phenomenal. You learn so much, like practical information. And it's just like an interesting class format. It's not like boring, lecture only, note-taking classes. You get to go do a lot of really fun stuff that's really unique.
Now, how has your time been as president as the Phi Alpha Theta National Honor Society here at Thomas More University?
It's been rough, only because I've never been a club leader before. So it's definitely like a different like format as far as like what all I have to do. So I still need to learn all of that. But also, it's like pretty much only like intellectual. So a lot of the people this semester, they went ahead and they submitted like research papers, and they presented them at a national or like a regional conference down at Western Kentucky University, which was like really, really cool. But I was like, oh, dealing with some really, really smart people here. And then I'm just there chilling. So it's definitely a wake-up call.
I'm sure, but I'm also sure it's a lot of fun learning along the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
and that's the experience and going about making the right and wrong choices and knowing how to move forward from that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, how has community service had an impact on your life?
Well, community service allowed me to go to high school where I did at
And where
Holy
was that?
Cross.
Okay.
Yeah. And, tuition there is kind of expensive because it's a Catholic school. And so your parents end up paying for it. But there's all sorts of fundraisers and things that kind of allow for tuition to be lowered, and then for athletics. So we went to different soccer tournaments and things like that, and all those require money. And so, fundraising and stuff like that is just, allowed me to go to school where I went. And then just community service, like being able to give back to your community is just something that, like, is really important. And you get to see, like, some big changes in, like, people that you see, like, walking down the street or you see at work, you see at church. It's really, really powerful. So big impact on my life.
Now, what has been your favorite aspect of your internship with the Brighton Center?
Ooh, so the Brighton Center, I started off, actually my first like full day was last Thursday. And that was really, really awesome. Um, you know, Working there and seeing kids, and being in like an environment where I'm like putting my degree to like good work, and kind of giving back to my community is something like really, really special for me. But then it also presents like this very unique, task that I would like to accomplish, and just changing like kids' lives early on. and kind of redirecting, some of that energy in a really positive manner. So definitely been a big change. Um, it's not the work environment I'm used to, but it's been really fun so far. And so I'll come in later today to go work there, and hopefully I'll have another really good day.
What are you hoping is on the agenda for when you head into the internship today?
Uh, ooh, hopefully I can get dinner. Go in there. Hopefully they'll have their food all made, and I can sit down with them. Um, and I'm hoping that everybody just does their chores and goes to bed on time. And you know, maybe they sit down. They talk to me. If they don't, and they want to sit on their phones, it's okay. That's fine. You know, Middle schoolers to high schoolers aren't necessarily always like the most talkative type. So
Now, can
we'll
you
see.
can you share a little bit more exactly what the Bryden Center offers to the community as a service and why that appeals to you?
So particularly with the Brighton Center, they've got a whole bunch of different ministries that they run, or different like little small institutions. So the other day, I was actually doing CPR training at this place called the Opportunity House in NKU. It's kind of like right by that Kroger that like sits like next to campus. But anyways, that's actually like a dorm. And it was really funny. One of my buddies from my crew Bible study that goes to NKU actually dorms there. And so while I'm doing my training, I look to my right and there's my buddy, and I'm like, "You're gonna get me fired." Like we are gonna laugh, like we were laughing. It was really fun, but so like different like ministries and stuff like that, like housing for students is like, I'm like, I didn't even know you guys did that. They're like, oh yeah, we do that. Counseling services. There's like an addiction recovery service where they're essentially like housing people and trying to get them clean. And if you go into Megerly's substance abuse class, um, they actually came in and talked about that particular aspect of their organization in that class. I don't know what the word is. Just like people, they come in guest speakers. That's what it is, guest speakers. They came in and they talked about that. Um, but yeah, it's been really really powerful for me. I love doing what I do. Where I work right now, I work as a resident assistant at Homeward Bound. It's just a shelter for kids that are, they wind out without housing in the custody of the state, and then the state kind of brings them in, and they're accepted. There's usually about 6 or 7 kids at any given time. Right now, there's 6, but boys and girls, and it's just a really awesome environment compared to what other alternatives there are out there. So the Brighton Center just does a really good job of kind of assisting like our local Northern Kentucky community, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it.
Do you have any advice you'd like to share with the incoming freshman class or just the Thomas More community?
Oh yeah. So the biggest thing, if you have the opportunity to join a group, be spontaneous, say yes. You never know where it's going to take you. I mean, I joined crew, um, and I went to a completely different country twice, and I went across the ocean twice. Um, went to a completely different world. Um, that is something like I never would have expected, and I did all that within the span of a year of joining them. Um, if you have the opportunity to make friends, in your class, like maybe you do an assignment together, stick with that person because chances are you're going to see them later on. And the more friends you have, the easier it is. It's a little bit more difficult to maintain friendships like when you're kind of like isolated. But if you can get them like in your group, like whether it's like a club, you guys go and you eat dinner in the commons, you guys hang out outside the lewd. Those are probably like my 2 biggest pieces of advices is just keep your friends close and join a group. That's it. Yeah.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for sharing that advice and everything else you've talked about here with me today. It's been great to hear from you, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store for you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. And thank you all back home for watching another edition of Saint Spotlights. Be sure to tune in next time for the new edition. Have a good one. See you around.